Have you ever tried to learn React? I think I tried, because I was thinking maybe I need to take like a job for React. Like I used to do like what was it called, freelancing, and I was considering taking like a maybe front-end React job, but I didn't know React and I wanted to learn it, and I opened it up and I just like, I don't want to learn this shit, and I just decided not to. Maybe the time has come to learn React. I kind of know how it works though. I kind of know how it works, so maybe we should learn React. So let's actually go ahead and learn React. So learn how to create. So yeah, okay. So you create le button. You create le button, all right, and then you use le button in your application. Okay, so and cool. So that doesn't tell you how to start your application. This is very bad tutorial, by the way, right? So maybe we have to start with the installation, right? How to start a new React project. So so Next.js, but I don't want to do Next.js. I know that Next.js is a thing on top of the stuff. Let's go ahead and probe make dir React. Yeah, let's do React. There we go. Can I just do npm init? Right, so we're gonna just do it. But I mean, I already called it React, so I probably have to do React hello world, right? Npm init. Right, so let's just initialize this entire scheiße. Okay, React hello world version 1. I don't want to do anything in here. Okay, test command, git repository, keywords, author, MIT, and yes, there you go. So npm right, install React. Can you just install React? Maybe I should have actually saved this entire thing. Let's do save. All right, so that will add that to you know, package JSON, right? So we have a package JSON thingy. So there you go. So do we have React in here? So, and maybe in here we also have node modules. So there is a React and everything in here. I have no idea how you're supposed to use that. You're supposed to, I guess you're supposed to just include this index thingy in there, right? To use React and stuff like that. So you probably have to like bundle this entire shit, right? So you probably have to bundle this entire shit. So I didn't think how it works. So Yesu describing AI, thinking in React. So maybe a reference. I want an old-fashioned React, right? I want an old-fashioned React without this Next.js bullshit. Like I don't really want that. React hello world. So let's actually search for that. Create a React hello world app. So for people who are asking like how to learn a new thing, you just fuck around. You just fuck around, and then you find out. So you have like a create React app hello world. Maybe this is what should have done. Okay, so let's actually try to do that then. So it will probably create a new folder, but we'll see. So need to install the following package. Okay, so yes, there we go. We probably need to. I probably need to change the title, by the way. Like learning React to get job at Google. So that's basically what I'm doing, because Google uses React, right? So Google uses React, I think. I think it does. So it's what is it downloading? Does it like why does it take so much time? It's downloading the entire universe. Holy shit. So the snake in the loading is agonizing. That's how bad it is. It's fucking agonizing. TypeScript. It's downloading TypeScript. Why? Why the fuck is it downloading a TypeScript? Like, why the fuck? Like, What the fuck just happened? What the fuck is this shit? Holy fuck. Is this normal for React? People say yes, okay. Okay, I'm gonna bring you here, so because this is hilarious. Okay, so we're gonna go inside of Hello World. Let's take a look at the size of the... Okay. So I think I lost the instructions. Okay, so we can do npm start, npm run build, npm run eject. Okay. So let me take a look. So we have src. So I didn't want to do that. I want to actually take a look at JS. And there we go. Finally, something familiar. Finally, I can see something familiar. Report web vitals. Okay, so, and then you have an app, right? So basically have an app, and I suppose app is located somewhere here. So here is the app. So we have a header, image, logo, edit code src, and save to reload, learn React, and let's replace it with your mom. Right, so we want to do npm start, right? What was that, start, right? So I remember there was start. So development server, right? So we want to do start. Yes, and did it already start? It's probably trying to start, and it opens my browser. Right, so we're trying to open the local host. One of the dependencies is importing the babel import blah blah blah. It's not even fucking loading, bro. Okay. Learn your Yay, we did it, we fucking did it. So yeah, so that's basically React. Isn't that a poggers? Isn't that a wargers? I think it's pretty freaking poggers. So let me see in terms of like a dependencies. So this is basically everything that we need. When I do, so just DOM React testing libraries, why this is part of the testing? This is so weird. Why it is not using like official React? Is it some, did I get hacked or something? I think I got hacked. So React testing. So, oh, it's like the latest one, right? Isn't it? I don't fucking understand, mate. I don't fucking understand. This is so bizarre. So what's interesting is that React is just a library, right? So it's just a library. We can try to take a look inside and like this thing and see how it all works. It's supposed to, I think, just, yeah, so it's a single bundle, right? So it's a simply single bundle. You know what I like to have? Can I have React like, you know, just like a regular bundle that I can put in script myself, right, and use? That would have been cool, I think. I think that would have been cool. And this is roughly what I was doing in here, I suppose, I think. All right, so because I just did package JSON, right? And one of the dependencies here is React, right? So this is just a React. But is that the right React? Because I want to see more simple example. So, and is that a correct React? Because it's, who's this? It's a Facebook React repository, but the author that submitted it in here is completely bogus. Like, who the fuck is that? Gnoffed. Is that normal in NPM? This is real React. Is this really real React? Who's Gnoffed though? Right, so Yeah, it's so weird. So did I reinstall the correct thing? Sort by popularity. Because this one is a correct match. It's so fucking scary to use this kind of thing, right? So, oh, you can actually, yes, you installed the correct thing, somebody says. Maybe? And you never know. It's so bizarre how you like kind of never know. Right, because if you take a look at README, it's a JavaScript for creating using user interfaces. And that's probably why I decided not to learn React, because fuck that, I guess. Right? Fuck that. So I'm not really sure. And maybe I got hacked by installing all of these modules in here. So I heard that there's a huge problem with, like, you know, supply chain attacks in NPM. So yeah. Lose and envify, whatever the fuck that is. So what is that though? Fast and loose selective process environment replacer using JS tokens. Okay, so that's very interesting. And JS tokens. Ooh, this one is interesting. So JS tokens rejects that tokenizes JavaScript. So this is probably what they use for the JSX maybe. Right, so this is probably what they use for JSX. So there's also CJS, React Dev. Okay, so there's different bundles here, I suppose. JSX runtime development. Okay, so this one is interesting. You can't really see what I'm doing in here, but yeah. So yeah, so this is the runtime, and it's like it's not even that big of a library apparently. So CJS. So there's a JSX runtime. So what is index.js? Module export. It's either depending on the production. Okay, so this one is kind of interesting. What if I run one of these things? So node modules, React, index.js. So it didn't do anything at all, right? It didn't do anything at all. Maybe because you're not supposed to run it from the Node.js, maybe from the browser. React idiots, for some reason, pushing pre-existing frameworks that use React rather than maintain a basic blank create thing. Yeah, that's what I noticed, right? So I remember React being a very simple library that people would just use some time ago. Right, so, and now it turned into this really weird abomination. So it's just like, what the fuck is wrong with React? Okay, so there is like a UMD thingy. So that's pretty cool. And the question is, like, there is a JSX runtime. So maybe one of the things we can do is we can do not React JSX runtime JS. Can I use this thing? I can't even use it. Yeah, because it uses like a runtime or something like that. So yeah, that, like, I would like to understand this thing on a very basic level on how to just like use it. Right, so maybe we should start by creating like an index.html. Right, so let's create an index.html. I can't really make it bigger, so let me maybe then start Emacs. So where am I? It's a React Hello World. Prob React Hello World. So index.html. I'm gonna start with that. HTML head. Right, head. Because I really want to start from the ground up. You know what I'm talking about? I want to start with the ground up. So this is a head. You have to do that in the title, right? So this is going to be title. So this is the title, and this is going to be the body. And in here, I suppose I just want to put. I want to just refer to this script, right? So, but what kind of scripts can we refer to? So this is stuff from Node.js. This is stuff from Node.js, so we probably don't want that. So what we want is a JSX. So React development, React production. So probably want this thing, right? I may try to just run that in a browser just to see how it's going to react, right, so to speak. All right, so this is going to be development, and let's see what's going to happen. I wonder if it's going to work at all. So you see, it's referring to the process, right? It's referring to the process, so it needs Node.js. So, and the process is not really a thing, but like, what's the thing that I have to put in a browser? Right, so what's the thing I have to put in the browser? Okay, so this is probably the thing I have to put in the browser. Right, there's no process in here. Yeah, okay, so that's the thing I have to put in the browser. All right. So, but I can start with the development and just see how it's gonna fail within the browser, right? So how is it going to fail within the browser? And by the way, maybe theoretically I can even do it like that. Maybe theoretically. So let's take a look at the console and how miserably it fails. Okay, so as you can see, process is not defined because it wants to be run from within Node. Right, it wants to be run from within Node, and this is not a thing that we're going to have. Right, so let's actually do production then. Right, so this is the production. Right, so do we have anything in console? Okay, so it says that there is no such thing. So, okay, Node modules, React, CGS, React, production mean. Okay, that makes sense. Export is not defined. Okay, so that means you can't really run just that. And one of the things you probably can run is UMD modules. So I suppose UMD modules, you can just like run them in here. Right, so do you have processing? Yeah, I think that's what we need in here. I think that's what we need to try to include in the index.html. And so that's going to be the thing. Right, so this is going to be UMD. I remember that UMD is sort of like a format of the modules, right? It's sort of like a format of the modules. And it would be nice to do development, right? It would be nice to do development because that way maybe we have some sort of like perks and everything. It loaded up. It just loaded up, as you can see, without any problems, right? So do we have okay. So, React is just a single file. Did you guys know that? It's a single file that you can just include here. And people say that it's a hard mode React. Where the fuck is it hard mode? It's a single file. Like, okay, so all right, so what else do we have in here? So we have profiling and stuff like that. Can I start writing React? So yusu React. So for example, what if I want to have my own application? So the question would be, how do I exactly start this application? So here I'm going to have a script, all right? So here I have a script. So this is just that. And I have a feeling that it's not going to work the way I expect it to work, right? So because it's using JSX. Right, so it's using JSX. Let's not have any button in here. But maybe, just because I included React in here, maybe it is going to try to pre-process whatever it has in scripts in here to have JSX and stuff like that. So does it refer to JSX anywhere in here? Okay, did you accidentally export JSX literal instead of component? Consider using JSX. Right, it's referring something to JSX, but not too much. Not too much. Okay, so maybe one of the things we can have in here, so there's a JSX runtime development, but all of that is sort of like a minified, right? So there's also experts and stuff like that, but none of that is UMD. None of that is UMD. So JSX runtime, so it's using this thing. So can I just use this thing, JSX different time? So this is just React, this is not what I want. Just that, different time. I want to try to run node JSX runtime JS. It's literally doing nothing, but what if I try to give it something? What if I try to give it something? So what if we had this thing in MyApp JSX, like so. Right, but let's actually get rid of this export default because it's sort of like a fancy JavaScript that requires some sort of a transpiler. I'm gonna try to assume that maybe I can just run JSX runtime like this, right? So Node.js. This is like a wild assumption, super wild assumption, but maybe it's going to work. JSX runtime and MyApp JSX, and it didn't really do anything. So does anybody know how exactly React transpiles JSX? So people suggesting to look at the create element. We can try to do that, right? So create element, right? So and it accepts type, but there's not that explanation, that much explanation. With Babel, Babel is just an additional thing on top of React, so I actually doubt that it works like this. JSX is preprocessed before the code hits the browser. This is what I figured. This is what I figured. React JSX. So the worst part about these modern frameworks, and especially tutorials, they do not explain you how this shit works. They literally don't explain you shit. They just give you, okay, run this bunch of commands in here and don't think about it. Look, you have a button on the screen. Don't think about it. You're too dumb for that. Don't think about that. Right, so, and it kind of feels offensive, honestly. Right, so the way these tutorials explain how this thing works is really offensive. Like, I mean, like, you're treating me like an idiot. Like, explain me how this thing actually works. Like, none of that bullshit. Just explain me how. And they're not gonna explain you. Because, fuck, you're too dumb. Dummy dumb dumb. It's just like, come on. So dumb. It's like, right, it's like straight up and like insulting. YJSX and, okay. But how do I preprocess that? Okay. So they say that you have to do that with Babel, but I mean, Babel is a separate project. So Babel is using something, right? So Babel is using something, but what is it using? It's running something. JSX transpiler, JSX transpiler. Is there something like transpiler that is separate its own thing? So it's part of the Babel, but I thought Babel has nothing to do with the React, and JSX is just something that it plugs into Babel, right? It's just something that plugs into the Babel. The question, what plugs into that? What Babel uses to do the JSX transpiler? Because I know, right, it's a separate thing, and it's like, it's part of the infrastructure. So what is it using? What is it using? So that's the real question in here, right? It's just a JavaScript compiler, but it's using something. You know what I'm talking about? I know that a lot of people are so caught up in the levels of abstractions, they don't see the difference, but I'm looking for the actual answer. So for example, here's the Babel. Okay, so JSX. It's probably like a Babel. All right, so let's talk about Babel. Compiles JSX down to, okay. So down to create elements. Yeah, I see what's going on here. Okay. Babel JSX. Transform React JSX. Yes. So how does it do that? Who it calls to? Who does it call to? So that's the real question. It's probably calling to somebody. It's calling to. It must be calling to somebody. Who are you calling to? Vue.js. But why is it part of the Vue.js? Isn't Vue a separate framework or something? What the fuck is going on? Web people. Web people, are you fucking okay? It's a plugin for Babel. It's just like, oh my god. Like, how am I supposed to take this shit seriously? Like, how are you calling yourself real software developers with this kind of shit? Like, I don't understand. How is this real? Like, this is so bad. Okay, so show me, does it refer to JSX? Okay, so it does refer to JSX, and there is this plugin, but show me the source code. JSX closing element. So it's literally part. Okay, so this is interesting. So this is literally part of Babel, right? So it's literally part of Babel, and it's okay. That is already something interesting. Closing element. Huh. Generators. Wait. Okay, so this is a generator, and is that the whole generator? Well, I mean, it's just generators. There should be some sort of process, I suppose. So there's a printer. It's a separate package, Babel generator. Holy shit. Plugin syntax JSX. Okay, can I just install Babel then? Right, so it's all inside of Babel, right? It's all inside of Babel. All right, so can I just do npm install Babel? And I hope I'm installing the right thing. Okay, so it's installed something. I should have actually, you know, saved. Right, so I should have actually saved it in here. All right, so there's a Babel in here. And it's probably doesn't have, yeah, right, so there's a this kind of thing. Right. Doesn't move to Babel core. So it's kind of interesting. I want to be able to just run it. Somebody left the stream. Somebody left the stream. So people don't understand that I'm not trying to achieve the end result, right? I'm trying to understand how mechanically this entire thing works, right? So it's kind of interesting. I suppose people expect me to just follow the tutorial and get satisfied how I see the logo of React or something like that. But I already did that. It was horrible. It was just the worst tutorial I've ever seen that doesn't explain anything about React. It literally doesn't explain anything about React. So the closest I got to understanding is by just including UMD module in here. And doing like React create like element or something like that. So this is the closest to understanding what the fuck is going on I got. And this is actually pretty good, right? So now I have this, you know, understanding. Got a dopamine kick from creating the button. Yeah, most React tutorials are dude, trust me, LMAO. Yeah, exactly. And what's funny is that people get frustrated when I just don't buy into this bullshit. they get really frustrated and leave the stream. But maybe that's a good thing. Maybe we don't want this kind of people in here. Right here, I want to understand. Right, so, and if we have JSX, which is preprocessed by Babel, right, so there should be a way to call that Babel like manually, mechanically. I know that you're supposed to have some sort of a bundler, some sort of a magical thing that you just like call one thing, it downloads thousands of dependencies and blah, 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 you get a dopamine hit. I understand that. I fucking understand that you all web developers are dopamine junkies like that. I understand that, but I like to understand how these things work, like mechanically. So you know what I'm talking about? The whole point is making developers able to create nice websites without need to know all of this. You're getting it wrong. Like, how are we getting like proud of not understanding things? Like, I am wrong. Listen, they call me wrong for trying to understand things. Are they being ironic? I hope you're being ironic. Right. So they are claiming I am wrong for trying to understand things. This is the state we're currently in. It has to be, like, it must be a joke, right? So it must, you're joking, right? You're just trolling, you're being ironic. Like, it is a joke, right? So it is a joke. I'm wrong for trying to understand things. It's not like the whole thing is bad. It's bad on purpose. And if you do not accept that, you are the one who's wrong. Right, anyway, so we're gonna ignore those people, right? So let me see. So how do I do that? Babel JSX, right? So show me how to do that. So this is a React transform. So maybe this is the thing I have to install, right? So they don't really explain you how to install this thing, though, right? So they just show you this, and that's about it. Right, so maybe JSX syntax plugin compiler for this Babel. Right, so there's a Babel standalone, right? So there's a Babel standalone. We not use a standalone. When you're using production, you should normally not use standalone. Oh, you can even use this thing like that. That's pretty interesting. That's pretty. So there's a Babel CLI, comes with built-in CLI, can be used to compile files from command line. Holy fucking shit! This is what I wanted. This is what I wanted. I know that I'm wrong for trying to like understand things mechanically, but I mean, I just want to do that. Row. All right, so I forgot to save it. I'm sorry. Okay, so let me see what we got in here. Holy shit! Anyway, so. So, all right, so there's a Babel. So there's another one in here. So here is the CLI. So this is a Babel CLI. So you have a bin and you have a Babel. Okay, so that's cool. I'm fine with all of that. I'm fine with all of that. So node modules, Babel, CLI bin, Babel. So it is JS. All right. So compilation requires a file, or okay. So let's provide. You can't see Scheisse in this. Maybe I should actually put this kind of stuff like up there. Like I should put myself up there. And now let's provide this thing. I wonder if. So do we have? It's a MyApp. Okay. So let me see what it is complaining about. JSX currently. Support for experimental syntax JSX isn't currently enabled. All right, how can I enable JSX? So if you want to leave it as it is, add Babel syntax to the plugin section to be enabled. All right, so let's take a look. So at least it is explaining how to. So this is probably what we want. So it's a saved. I should have actually saved Babel as a dependency, as a dev dependency, right? So, all right. Okay, so even though we installed this thing, it still doesn't work. So that means, I suppose, the Babel should have a config. Remember that the Babel had config. Babel config. All right. Configure Babel. Okay, so here's the plugins and stuff like that. Can it generate config? If you want to compile not modules, so this is for you. All right. Okay, so I was hoping that maybe it's gonna. Oh, okay. You can actually put this thing in a package thingy. By the way, as far as I know, I can do all of that from the package config, right? So, so this is a Babel, but it's probably don't need this thing, right? And can I move this entire thing here? Yeah, I think I can. So and then I can basically do stuff like this. So I'm not sure if presets are important, so I'm gonna make them like this, and the plugins is gonna be GSX. Right, so I suppose in script I can do Babel, so maybe something like, let's call it build, right? So let's call it essentially build, and this is gonna be Babel GSX, and we're gonna build specifically MyApp GSX, right? So and see how it's gonna go. So and as far as I can understand, here we're gonna do run. Maybe we can just do build. Right, command run build. All right. So what do we have in here? So there's some problem with the JSON data, probably because of this thing. So unexpected string in JSON at position. React hello world. I forgot to put this thing in here. It's still, where do I still have, okay. Freaking JSON, I swear to God. So can I know line 100, what? At the position 151, line 9. Jesus, bro. Finally. Babel.js is not found, which is rather interesting. So I would expect this thing to be... So, yeah, that's kind of weird. So I would expect it to be in sort of like in bins, because I know that... Oh, it's just Babel without JS. Okay, so that's cool. So I can just do it like that. Let's do it like this. And all right, that's cool. So could not find package babel.js exported from blah blah blah. All right, so that's weird. That's a bit weird. I don't really know why. Even though here's the plugin syntax.js x. So resolve virtual. So maybe I have to do npm install one more time just in case. I don't freaking know. So that's fine. So that is fine. That is fine, my friend. So what's up with that? So it doesn't want to enable. The plugin is syntax.jsx. Okay, so this is probably what we have to do. All right, so run build. Okay, so that cannot find package. To configure GSX. Okay, so let me close this entire shit. It's too much open things. And Babel JSX plugin. Right. So I don't know why it doesn't understand that. Right. So syntax JSX and just JSX doesn't work. Plugin transform GSX. Is that what I have to install? So what's the difference between plugin syntax JSX and plugin transform React JS? Like what? That is so weird. So to be fair, this is not the state of things, but the state of things 5 years ago. Yes, because I want to understand that from the ground up. Like again, guys, I do understand that you just want me to follow this high-level tutorial with Next.js or something like that and download hundreds of dependencies. I understand that, but all of that is built on top of other things, and I want to understand from the ground up. It's an insane thing to do. Like, I do understand that, but that's how I operate. I do understand that you're not supposed to understand the shit, but I want to. Like, and maybe that's the fundamental sort of ideological difference between me and web developers. Somehow that I'm doing that, I'm wrong. Right. Like, it's kind of weird. Maybe, like, I have a hypothesis why web devs don't like what I'm doing right now. I have a hypothesis. Because since I'm going from the ground up and actually trying to understand the things, it exposes how shit all of that is. And it makes people feel uncomfortable, and that's why they have an urge to say that it's me who's wrong. Because we're starting from the ground up, we're trying to understand, and you're starting to see all of that dirt, all of that field going up, and it's just like, it doesn't make sense. We can see how crappy it all is under the hood, and it makes them feel uncomfortable, and they're frustrated, they don't like what they see, and they really want to say that, oh, it's you, it's not that the actual technology bad, it's like, it's you who's wrong, it's you, fuck you, fuck you. This is my feeling when I see these comments in the chat. Am I wrong, or am I, like why am I not supposed to understand that? You know, like, why am I not supposed to understand? I think I'm supposed to understand that. I want to see all of that dirt and all of that field. Even if it makes you feel uncomfortable, I want to see all of that. I want to see all of your dirty secrets. And if that makes you feel uncomfortable, I'm really sorry. I'm that kind of person. All right, so okay, let's actually try to understand. Right, even though some people don't like that. Babel JSX. So there was the documentation, right? So Babel JSX. Why did it go there? Babel JSX. All right, let's go. So all right. So somebody was actually suggesting pretty interesting thing. So just put like a plugin thingy. I think I missed it. I missed the comment. So there was like a plugin. Yeah, this one. This is actually a very good one. But isn't that how putting plugin in here works? But I can do that. I can try to do that anyway. So that's actually a good idea. So that might actually work. Right. So that might actually work. So let's get rid of this thing. Let's get rid of this thing. And it worked. Okay, so that's pretty cool. So what do we have in here? So it, yeah, that is bizarre. So it just returned that, but it didn't do anything. It literally didn't do anything. Huh. That's kind of funny. It doesn't do anything, it just understands JS syntax. Oh shit. Okay, so we probably want to have this transform plugin then, right? So we want to have this transform plugin. Okay, let's try to maybe install this thing and just save dev. Right? Okay. And can we do the same thing for the transform React.js JSX, right? So there we go. And can I just do run build? All right, now we're talking. Look at that. Look at freaking that. So we've got this thing, right? So we've got this thing. And yeah, now we can just try to use that. We can even do the following thing, chat. We can try to redirect that to MyApp JS, right? And we got MyApp JS. All right. So the question is, how can we instantiate the React application, right? So, and of course, not a single tutorial is going to tell us how to do that, of course, because you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to understand, right? And if you're trying to understand that, you're dumb, you're wrong, fuck you, this is frustrating, I don't want to watch that, fuck you, you're not supposed to understand, fuck you. So I do understand that, right? So, but look, why are you guys saying it's trolling? This is not trolling. This is literally how I explore new technology. Like, I'm not even trolling. Like, this is like my legit like reaction to React. Like, why do you guys think I'm trolling? Like, this is how I explore things. I explore them from the ground up. Like, what? Right, so this is like, yeah, this is my genuine reaction. This is how we do that without the stream if I were to learn this kind of stuff. So yeah, you have to do create root and root render. Okay, so here's the question. Why not a single React tutorial shows you this thing? Right, why is it always some weird sort of special tool that has thousands of dependencies and some like weird shit? Why they don't show you this kind of thing? Like, yeah, I would prefer something like that. So, and once you understand these basics, like how it works under the hood, then you can use additional tools that help you automate all of that, because I do understand that it's kind of tedious to do it like that. Right. So, I don't know. You know what I'm talking about? Right, you know what I'm talking about. So here's the HTML, here's the React development, here's this kind of thing. And so people say I'm supposed to create a root, right? So let's actually start this entire thing. Right, so we've got everything. So we also have MyApp, right? So if I try to run it, so we got probably React component, right? So we got React component. I can do React create root. There's no such thing as create root. So there is only create context, right? So is there a root? Right. So maybe there is a create context. So React create context. So maybe because if you go that far, you're good enough to use vanilla.js and something that actually decent. To be fair, yeah, if I were to make a web application for myself, I would just use vanilla.js. But here we're learning React. So people say React DOM. React DOM. There's no such thing as React DOM. So, okay, let's actually see what the fuck is context. So you have a React component. So React create context. Okay, so you create some sort of a context. And so what do you do with this context though? So, and it's really weird, like how do you instantiate a React application? It's for the state management, okay. Don't scream at me, please. Don't scream at me. Do not scream at me. Yeah, they literally don't show you how to instantiate that. It's just like, yeah, don't think about it, bruh. Bruh, don't think about it. Why do we need a separate package? I don't understand. People say you need some sort of a separate package. I do not understand that. So people say React DOM or something. Oh, try React DOM. React? No, there's no such thing. React DOM. Okay. That provides DOM and server renderers for React. Why is that a separate? What's the point of the React package if there's like a separate React? I don't. Why? Why? React. Okay, so there is a React DOM. Okay, create root. Oh, okay. But why is that a separate package? Well, like, I would expect React just to have like everything you need to just like, why? Why are they separate? Like, what? This is so bizarre. Holy shit. Like, why? Okay, so we can install this thing. All right. So, and I suppose this is another thing that we'll have to include in the final thing. Okay, so the React DOM. All right. So, and of course there is a UMD. Okay, and this. Okay, we're gonna go with these things. There's also a server. I'm not sure if I care about the server, so I'm not gonna bring it there. Right, so this is the React. I don't understand why it is a separate thing, honestly. I don't think it should be a separate thing. But I mean, I'm dumb. React DOM. Okay, so we got this. Download the React DevTools for better development. Fuck you. Don't tell me what to do. Right. So you're supposed to create root, and okay, so I see what is going on here. I see what is going on. So we have to have like a dev, and ID is gonna be app. Right, so ID is gonna be app, like so. So this is the app, and essentially what we're doing here, we're gonna have sort of like an entry point in here. So this is going to be an entry point, and React DOM create root, and I suppose document get element by ID, and this is app. So we created the root. All right. So and then. So this is going to be const root, of course. So it's painful to watch. Why are you saying that this is painful and frustrating? Like, I don't understand. This is React. This is how React works. Right. I mean, this is React. Like, and I'm not even joking, like, because, like, yeah, I downloaded React and I'm just like using it. So this is React. I really don't understand you guys. Are you uncomfortable just because I'm exposing the underlying mechanisms of React and you don't feel comfortable seeing what is actually under the hood? I feel like that's the problem, right? So people are just afraid of what's behind all of these abstractions. I don't understand. I don't understand you guys. So I suppose this is how you do that, right? Okay. So all right. So this is React. This is React, right? And what's fun is that we probably don't need Babel, right? So we probably don't need Babel. We could have just like used that, but I mean with Babel it's a little bit easier like that, right? So it's just a little bit easier. So we can create maybe some sort of like a function button, right? So this is going to be the button. So we probably want to return this entire thing. Right, so this is going to be button, and we can say something like click me, and I suppose the way you use React, if I'm not mistaken, you just do something like this. But you want to rebuild the entire thing, right? So, and you've got a button. You've got a button that you say click me. Right, so I really don't understand what the fuck with all of this. This is so frustrating. Follow this stupid tutorial that downloads thousands of things. Don't think about it. Don't look at that. Like here's the React. So, this is React. Right, so here's your component. Here's your nested component. This is React. I swear to God, people, I swear to fucking God, my friend, the React. Okay, so now we can take a look at the actual tutorials and shit. Right, so remember how we looked at these tutorials and they kind of assumed that we'll already have everything set up? Well, now we do. Now we do. And how can we handle the click of le button? I'm a button. Okay, so how can we handle the click? Do we do shed on clicks or something? So here's the image. Well, there's nothing. Conditional rendering, there's like this kind of stuff. I'm not sure. Rendering. So do you have like an on click? On click. Okay, so there is on click, and you have a function handle click. Okay. So what can we say? On click. Right. Handle click, and this is the function handle click. Alert. Alert. Your mom. Oh, oh. Let's build this scheiße. And let's take a look at what it generated there. So here's the question. Why the fuck do you need React? Can't you just create like components? Like, you know, you can do document, create element. This is basically document create element. It's just like, why the fuck do you need React exactly? I don't understand. It's just like, what? And look at how much stuff we had to do. Like, we had to have extra transpiler, so many dependencies, but this is basically just document create. Remember how I created like a framework, a grecha.js? Do you guys remember? This is basically React, but without the bullshit. Right. It even doesn't require any transpiler, any preprocessor. Look at this shit. This is how it looks like. Look at that. So you have a router and different sort of routes. And on different routes, you have a different sort of DOM. And DOM is just a function like this. So we have diff, h1, and stuff like that. Right. And this is just a single file without any babel bullshit or anything like that. It's just a single file. And it's not even 100 lines of code. Look at that. So this framework, this library that can rival React is less than 100 lines of code. Think about it. Just look at that. Like, why the fuck do you need React? Like, I don't understand, honestly. Just look at that. This is better than React. I don't fucking know. Okay. So, Yusu. Okay, so something on click, did you mean? Okay. You know what's funny? This kind of shit was not caught at the level of transpiler, right? It was caught at runtime. Why the fuck do you need an extra compiler step if you can't catch this kind of shit at extra compilation step? Like, I swear to fucking God, introducing an extra step and not just providing extra convenience for that. It's fucking embarrassing. It's fucking embarrassing. Your mom. Haha. So, did I master React? Did I master React? I think I did. I think I fucking did. And in fact, by going through this frustration and pain, I now know more about React than an average senior React developer. How about it? Does your average senior React developer even know how JSX looks like when it compiled down to JavaScript? Have they ever seen any of that? They probably see all of that and they start crying like, where is my convenience? This is the real JavaScript. This is the reality. This is the realities the web developers don't want to face. So yeah. So somebody should create like a real React tutorial where they just throw away all of that bullshit libraries, right? Bullshit like command line things that set up project for you, and they just show you this. They just show you how to do the thing that I just did on the stream. Or better, use grecha.js. Grecha.js is actually fucking awesome, I swear to God. So this is like the whole application, and look how it works, right? I think, did I even, I didn't think I think I didn't deploy it on GitHub pages. So let me quickly just put it like that. Git clone, let's just clone it super quick. So here's grecha.js, here's an example yet again. So you just like create some images and stuff like that. You create an entry, you just append some stuff, and if you open this entire thing, this is how it looks like. So this is the application, right? And it has several pages. This is HTML, has several pages. You switch between the pages. It has the router. It reacts to different things. And this framework is less than 100 lines of code. This is less than 100, it's 69 lines of code. It's literally 69 lines of code. And the whole application is literally this. Like, it's so intuitive, it's better than React. Like, look at this shit. Like, just compare that to this stinky React that requires some sort of transpiler preprocessor. It has so many fucking dependencies. This thing, 69 lines of code. You can do this kind of shit. You can make grecha shake. You can make it unshake. You have a couple of pages. You can go home. You can go here. It all fucking works. Who fucking needs Reacts? Who fucking needs React? Bruh. Bruh. Just use grecha.js. Fuck React. Fuck that stupid library. I'm telling you. Make a counter in grecha. So what's going to be the counter? Is the thing that counts things? I don't know. So it's actually a good question. So let me see. Grecha on click. So what we're doing in here, we're just doing it like that. So this is going to be count +1. And how we're going to be updating the counter. Right. So we're going to have dev and then, so let's actually put dev in here, but this is going to be count. So, and the problem here is that it's not going to update. Okay, you got me. You fucking got me. All right, you won. So I'll have to, this is probably something interesting to, you know, explore, and how can you extend this specific, shut up. Shut up. Explore how we can even do that. So can I just do H2 maybe? Right, so I don't remember. Can I do like a counter? Right, like so. Yeah. So, but that's interesting. Like, how would you update this entire thing? We can ask it to update itself, right? So we can ask it to maybe in a level of the router, to refresh. So essentially, so what if we save the router somewhere here, and maybe the router is going to something like refresh. Is that a good idea, actually? So, and essentially it would just take the current route and re-render the whole thing, right? Just simply re-render the whole thing. But what's funny is that this counter gets baked into the div, right? So it gets baked into the div. So that means even if you re-render the whole thing, it's not going to change. So you probably want to actually put it as some sort of a function, right? As some sort of a function. So that's very interesting. That is very interesting. So let me take a look at how exactly this entire thing works. So it's going to grecha.js. So if I have a div, right? So what's the div function? I didn't see the div function. Oh, we actually, yeah. Okay, so it's a really funny way we're creating those things. Okay, so here's the children, and we're looking at the children. And depending on what, okay, so this is actually kind of cool. So the children that we could have are strings and other things. So they're strings and other things. So we should take a look at the situation when it is a function, right? So we should take a look at the situation when it is a function. So type of, what is the type of this thing? So it is a function. So maybe we have to do it like that. Else if type of child function. And if it is a function, we have to probably store it slightly differently, right? So we have to store it slightly differently. So it appends the child. So if I just call the child like that, so I can always append the child and just say document create text node, document create text node, and just child. It again bakes the whole thing. It again bakes the whole thing. So I suppose this entire stuff has to become a function. Okay, so I see what's going on. So the easiest way to do it like that would be to turn this into a function. Okay, so fair enough. Well, I kind of started to have a deja vu. I think I was even planning to do it like that. Yeah. So there's even a sync. Holy shit, there's a sync hash and everything. This is so funny. Okay. All right, so this is the router. So this is the result and everything. So, and this is the result that we return. All right, so we append some childs and we just return this entire thing. So routes are some of these things, and we probably want to turn them into functions, right? So essentially, yeah, we do it like that. So we just do it like this and we call it as a function, and because of that we probably want to do it like this. So each of those things become a separate function, right? Each of these things become a separate function. Cool. So, and we want to be able to maybe sync hash, right? So location, so it's just recalls this entire thing when it synchronizes. I don't remember where okay, so here's where we remove the child. Yeah, we want to be able to call the sync hash from the router, right? We want to be able to do that. So that means we need to make this thing part of the div. How do we, okay, so we can just assign additional thing in there. We can just assign it like that. So can I just say result sync hash equal that sync hash? I think I should be able to do that. Right. I think we should be able to do it. Okay, so that's basically it, right? So essentially, we can even call it refresh. I think refresh is a better name for this kind of stuff. Right, it is a better name. So, and when do we trigger this entire thing? When do we trigger? When it comes to A, do we do anything special? I just realized that I don't quite remember how exactly this thing works. Right. How exactly this thing works. Oh, hash changed. Okay, so we assign sync hash on the, okay, so that makes sense. All right. Okay. There's a way to destroy an instance. There is no way probably to destroy an instance. Okay, so I'm slowly recovering how this entire thing works. Okay, so I'm super happy. So there is a syntax error at the example 13. So so this is that. All right. So that probably means that we want to so this is weird. Okay, so there's that. So it doesn't really have to be like this, by the way. It doesn't really have to be like this. So this is just a count. So I'm just thinking, I'm just looking whether I did not make any fucky wacky, because it says that there's unclosed thing in here, which is not true. Right, so which is definitely not true. So this is append child. So we can now move that outside. Hopefully I didn't remove too much in here. So this is that. That's fucking them. Okay, so let me move it to a proper JavaScript file, because this is painful. This is painful. Okay, so JS mode. All right, so now finally, okay, I can finally select everything I want. Okay, so that's cool. All right, so this is gonna be just the router. Right, so this is the router, and in here let's put it like this. So this is the router, semicolon, so that should kind of work. Maybe I should put it into a separate thing, but I mean, it's an example, it has to be there, right? It has to be like that, so that's fine. So let's put it like this. So let me, okay, append child, grecha.js 8. What is that? So what did you like? A fail to execute on node parameter is not a type of node. It's coming from here. Show me example 17. So because it's not a string. Okay, that is understandable, so that's fine. We can probably fix that. So let's put it like this. Counter. And is this how we do that? Right? Is this how we do that? I think this is how we do that. But I mean, we can always do something like this. It doesn't matter. I think it's going to be recognized as string anyway, right? So that's fine. Okay, counter. All right. So that seems to be working, but I mean, it complains now. So let's go to the console. So sync hash is not a function. Okay, sync hash, because it now refresh. It's called refresh. All right, so let me see. That's how chat developers solve problem. Their framework doesn't support counters, they just add them in real time. That's fucking simple. Fuck React. So there's some problem in here. So this thing, all right. But suppose okay, so this doesn't you know, switch between Kasha hard and Kasha not hard. But I suppose we can have something like hard, which is false by default, right? So this thing probably could be const. And what we can say is essentially if, so where is Kasha? Okay, so this is a div Kasha. And we can say if maybe hard Kasha, hard, right? So this is hard, otherwise just Kasha. And in here we can just remove this entire shit, and here hard, not hard. So as you can see, the famous state management, the hardest problem in web development, 2 variables, the entire state, right? So, and depending on these 2 variables, we just like render this entire thing differently. So it's either hard or, kasha hard. So let's see if it's going to work now. Is that a single page reactive application that uses global variables as the state management? Holy fucking shit! What the fuck? And it's as simple as that. Like, look at that. You have this variable and it's just like inside of like a DOM. Like, to be fair, this is heavily... Stop moving goalposts! Stop fucking moving goalposts. Right, so it was first, oh, can you do count? Okay, you can do counters, but that's fucking... I can move your... I can destroy all of your fucking goalposts. And I just proven that. You are in a fucking denial. You reacted shit. You know that. You just fall into denial. Stop putting goalposts. I'm gonna destroy them all. I'm gonna fucking destroy them all with vanilla JavaScript. Anyway, so I think we need to do a commit. So I think because this is a very useful feature, right? So I think this is a good idea actually. So so it's gonna be like this, boom. But that will require also updating README. Yeah. So this README is outdated, so I'll probably have to copy paste this. Oh yeah, so this is like the entirety. I just put the entire example in there, right? So that's how it basically works. So what did we do in here? Look how many changes we had to make into the... That's how many changes it required to add to the entire framework to add support for the for the refresh, for the counter and stuff like that, right? But that now means that this is not 60. Fuck, this is not 69 anymore. Okay, so let's actually try to fix that. Yeah, so it's 70. Yeah, now it is still 69. So this is very important. Right. So implement counter. So it's very important to keep the size of the framework to 69, right? So it is very important. Chat. So yeah, can your React do that? Well, I mean it can, but with a shit ton of dependencies, right? This thing is just 69 lines of code. It's just 69 lines of code. React developers are fuming. React developers are literally fuming. But yeah, it is as simple as that. Okay, so I've been streaming for quite some time, so yeah, I hope you liked today's stream. Thanks everyone who's watching right now. I really appreciate it. Have a good one, and I see you all on the next recreational programming session with Azuzin. I love you all. Mwah.